All right. 45. In the bestowing such warm approbation on the civil law, Crassius, I see what was your motive. When you were speaking, I did not see it. In the first place, you were willing to oblige Scaevola, whom we ought all to esteem most deservedly for his singularly excellent disposition in seeing his science undoried and unadorned. You have enriched it with your eloquence as with a portion, and decorated it with a profusion of ornaments. And the next, as you had spent much pains and labor in the acquisition of it, since you had in your own house one who encouraged and instructed you in that study, you were afraid that you might lose the fruit of your industry if you did not magnify the science by your eloquence. But I have no controversy with the science. Let it be of as much consequence as you represent it, for without doubt it is of a great and extensive concern, having relation to multitudes of people, and has always been held in the highest honor, and our most eminent citizens have ever been and are still at the head of the profession of it. Take care, Crassius, lest, while you strive to adorn the knowledge of the civil law with new and foreign ornaments, you spoil and denude her of what is granted and accorded to her as her own. For if you were to say that he is a lawyer, is also an orator, and that he who is an orator is also a lawyer, you would make two excellent branches of knowledge, each equal to the other, and sharers of the same dignity. But now you allow that a man may be a lawyer without the eloquence which we are considering, and that there have been many such, and you deny that a man can be an orator who has not acquired a knowledge of law. Thus, the lawyer is of himself nothing with you but a sort of wary and acute legalist, an instructor in actions, a repeater of forms, a catcher of syllables. But because the orator has frequent occasion for the aid of the law in his pleadings, you have of necessity joined legal knowledge to eloquence as a handmaid and attendant. 46. But as to your wonder at the effrontery of those advocates who, though they were ignorant of small things, professed great ones, or who ventured in the management of causes to treat of the most important points in the civil law, though they never understood nor had ever learned them, the defense on both charges is easy and ready. For it is not at all surprising that he who is ignorant in what form of words a contract of marriage is made should be able to defend the cause of a woman who has formed such a contract, nor though the same skill in steering is requisite for a small as for a large vessel. He is therefore who is ignorant of the form of words by which an estate is to be divided, incapable of pleading a cause relative to the division of an estate. For though you appealed to causes of great consequence, pleaded before the centumviri that turned upon points of law, what cause was there among them all which could not have been ably pleaded by an eloquent man unacquainted with law? In all which causes, as in the causes of Manius Curius, which was lately pleaded by you, and that of Cassius Hostilius Mancinus, and that of the boy who was born of a second wife without any notice of divorce having been sent to the first, there was the greatest disagreement among the most skillful lawyers on points of law. I asked then how in these causes a knowledge of the law could have aided the orator, when that lawyer must have had the superiority who was supported not by his own, but a foreign art, not by knowledge of the law, but by eloquence. I have often heard that when Publius Crassius was a candidate for the aedileship, and Servius Galba, though older than he, and even a consular dignity, attended upon him to promote his interest, having betrothed Crassius' daughter to his son Cassius, there came a countryman to Crassius to consult him on some matter of law, and when he had taken Crassius aside and laid the affair before him, and received from him such an answer as was rather right than suited his wishes, Galba, seeing him look dejected, called him by his name and asked him on what matter he had consulted Crassius. When having heard his case, and seeing the man in great trouble, I perceive, said he, that Crassus gave you an answer while his mind was anxious and preoccupied with other affairs. He then took Crassus by the hand and said, Hark you, how came it into your head to give this man such an answer? Crassus, who was a man of great legal knowledge, confidently repeated that the matter was exactly as he had stated in his answer, and that there could be no doubt. But Galba, referring to the variety and multiplicity of matters, adduced abundance of similar cases, and used many arguments for equity against the strict letter of law, while Crassus, as he could not maintain his ground in the debate, for though he was numbered among the eloquent, he was by no means equal to Galba, had recourse to authorities, and showed what he had asserted in the books of his brother Publius Mucius, and in the commentaries of Sextus Aelius, though he allowed at the same time that Galba's arguments had appeared to him plausible and almost true.